realize this is fucking reality.
Oh,
I was like, man, my boy Tim Dog, man, he's trying to cope.
I mean, it is what it is. It's just Microsoft's going in a different direction. You know what I'm saying? But I don't
Yeah,
understand. This is what I don't understand. This is what's weird to me for Microsoft's direction. So I listen to podcasts and everybody's talking about Microsoft's doing this so they can increase software sales because the real money's in software sales
yeah,
and not hardware sales. Which I agree with that statement,
yeah.
but
True.
they're only saying half the story though because the third party sales also counts towards their revenue, right?
Yeah,
And if Microsoft is opening the door to where they'd be like, hey, you could play your games anywhere, and more gamers are not buying Xbox consoles and decide to go PC.
then that's less third party sales they're gonna get, right?
Exactly. The only games they're actually selling is their own first party, but they're
Which is
losing
slim.
they're losing third party sales because PC gamers are not gonna buy a PC and buy their third party games on the
Yeah,
Windows Store. They're gonna do it on Steam.
exactly.
So Steam gets all the third party revenue, while Microsoft, the only revenue they're getting is their first party, right? But then
Yep,
here's the kicker. If you transition from Xbox to PC, you're gonna stop paying for live because it's free on PC.
that's true.
You're gonna
So
lose that revenue. So I don't fully understand Microsoft's unless they think they could compete against Steam and they're gonna take Steam subscribers. I don't see that happening.
how's that gonna happen? The live store has been active for what 3 years now, and nobody dares touch that. So I don't know, man. And cross, I don't know.
Yeah, because
I,
like the live Xbox, Microsoft on PC is really just their first party. Because
yeah,
anything third party related, people are gonna look to Steam or they're gonna look at Origin or they're gonna
yeah,
buy their games as CD keys, humble bundles, shit like that. The
exactly.
Microsoft store is gonna be the last place where
Where
they
they
buy third party games. So any gamer that transitions from Xbox to PC, their third party games is going to be bought on Steam. Microsoft loses all that money. So I don't understand Microsoft's vision right now, unless they honestly think they could compete with Steam and grab that third party revenue.
I don't know, man. Maybe they really think that Game Pass is going to be enough revenue to take over the loss.
That's probably what I'm thinking. They're probably thinking that if they get Game Pass and flush it out on PC,
Yeah,
everybody will opt for $10 a month and play all these games on PC, guys buying them outright on Steam, which I
yeah,
don't think will work because Steam sometimes sells games for like $5.
yep, yep. Matter of
No,
fact, just I think last week or 2 weeks ago, me and all day we were on Steam looking through the sales, and man, we picked up like 4 or 5 games.
yeah, and then also on top of that, PC owners like to buy their games. You know what I'm saying? They pride themselves on having this huge collections of titles and stuff like that, and Steam makes it easy for them to do that because the games are cheap.
Yep.
So I don't really I don't understand their I don't understand.
Here's another thing too. You got to realize, right? This is another key to the puzzle. With less hardware you're selling, the less software obviously you're going to sell. So with that being said, next generation, how many people are really going to adopt the next gen Xbox? I mean, will all the guys who bought an Xbox X and the Xbox S and the OG Xbox, will they transition over to the Xbox Two, or will they say, "Look, I had enough. The safe bet is to go Sony and Nintendo, or Sony and and PC next gen." I mean, that's another thing. So that means the less people they're going to have on the Xbox Two. So how are they going to sell the Game Pass and all these other services to people who don't have their box, unless
So
they decide to go the route that we think they're going to go and just put Game Pass and all that other stuff on everything. on all other devices. They have to make up for that shortfall in one way or the other.
Yeah, and the idea is PC and mobile tablets. That's the logic being used. That Microsoft is not relying on Xbox hardware sales to increase their software output. That it's going to be being able to allow gamers to play what they want. And that's the thing that doesn't make sense to me, because if you say, hey, it's okay to buy a PC, we're going to make money off you anyway. I only see them making money off of first party sales. All the majority of the revenue Microsoft and Sony makes is from third party, because that's what's there the most. You know, the most amount of games is third party games, right?
Yeah.
All the third party games are going to be bought on Steam. That's like I said before. So I don't understand how Microsoft's going to get more sales out of this if people don't buy Xbox and they opt to stay PC. Those third-party sales is going to be Steam. Steam's going to benefit this the most, you know?
Exactly.
And so I really see Sony's strategy makes sense, is to push the hardware sale, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to lock the consumers into their ecosystem, to where if you go out and you buy a PlayStation 4 and that's your primary platform, you're going to do everything on that platform. You're going to buy your first-party games, you're going to buy your third-party games, and you're going to pay for your subscription and all that. All your DLC, everything's done on a Sony PlayStation platform. The same can't be said with Microsoft on PC. Sure, on PC, you'll go to the Windows Store to play your Gears of War 5, your Halo, Crackdown, whatever. But that's about it. Once you start stepping into the realm of Call of Duty, Battlefield, Red Dead, Grand Theft Auto 6, Cyberpunk 2077, that's all Steam. Steam's going to benefit from those sales, not Microsoft.
I agree.
So I don't know where's this gonna come from. It's gonna be interesting to see.
And we gotta think about next gen, because it's right around the corner. How are they gonna market that thing? And really, how are they gonna market it, right? Because you can say it's the world's most powerful, but that didn't work for the X. So how's that Xbox 2 gonna improve upon that without the first party games to sell it, right? Games looking a little better is not enough to drag millions and millions and million people over. So they need to go after the Sony ecosystem, and they need to go after the Nintendo's fan base.
Well, that's too late. They're not going to do that, because right now, the next Xbox, it's going to sell. It's just not going to sell as much as Nintendo and Sony.
Yeah,
that's just the reality. It's going to sell. It's just not. It's going to sell based on what everybody who's an Xbox fan is saying. I like it because of they're gonna create another reason, right? Or whatever the next Xbox does different than the PlayStation. Yeah. Those who buy Xbox, that's going to be the reason why they bought Xbox.
Exactly.
Let's say if PlayStation 5 is more powerful than Xbox, they'll just find another reason to prefer Xbox. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to have your core Xbox. You're going to have your core gamers that will always and only game on Xbox. Until Microsoft stops making it, they're always going to buy an Xbox. So you have that dedicated core fan base, And I would say that dedicated core fan base will always push every gen like 30 to 40 million sales. It'll be consistent, 30, 40. But if Microsoft intends to push the 80 million console selling generation, they would have to make the console, the main point, but they're not doing that. The actual Xbox console is not the main focus. What the main focus is Microsoft's ability to push games onto as many platforms as they can.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hey, shout out to Jemiah Dixon. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says Spider-Man is going to push consoles like crazy. Oh, definitely. So let's jump into that topic. So Spider-Man fever has hit the streets, and a lot of gamers who don't own a PS4 are in agony. I'm seeing more and more tweets of gamers, not happy, that they're discontent, they're pissed off that Spider-Man is exclusive, and the closer and closer we get to the release of Spider-Man, the more you see these gamers tweeting out and whatever. You know what I'm saying? The
Saw
number
that.
one, yeah, the number one thing is, um, um, the number one thing is this, that Spider-Man is, was meant to be a game for everybody to play. All right, it wasn't meant to be locked behind one console. So a lot of people are pissed off at Sony for doing that, and they feel Sony should make it multi-plat because the IP is meant for all gamers. Here's my take: if you look at the last couple of Spider-Man games, they sold like shit. So
Yeah,
when people tell me, so when I hear, "Hey, this game's for everybody," I'm thinking, who's everybody?
yeah,
Because everybody wasn't buying this game. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? You know?
Here's my take, Porter Rock. Here's my take. Those games typically had a movie tie-in to it,
Yeah.
for the most part, and we all know those movie tie-in games always end up sucking. This game is original. There's no movie tie-in, and it's being developed by a top-tier developer. And Sony, they got the rights to the character to make this game. That's them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All I can say is if the competition really wanted it, they should have bid it for it. They should have willed and dealed and did that. It's hey, sometimes you win,
Yeah.
sometimes you lose some. But at the end of the day, it's a bigger argument that there's closer to 100 million PlayStations out in the wild versus 30 something thousand Xboxes on the wild. I get what people saying previously, those previous games, but I mean, who do you think is going to win that battle? Would you rather have the larger audience or the smaller audience?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where it boils down to. But at the end of the day, you can always save up $200, go get you a PS4, have a Coke and a smile.
Mm-hmm. I mean, at the end of the day, Activision had the IP, right?
Yep.
So the game was available to everybody, but the game generally wasn't good. You
Yep.
understand? All right. Right now, a lot of people upset because this Spider-Man, this version of Spider-Man, looks like it could be its own version of what Rocksteady did for Batman with the
Yeah.
Arkham series, right?
Yep.
But what gamers don't understand is the reason why this looks great is because the publisher, you know what I'm saying, wants a
Mm-hmm.
quality title. Activision never pushed for a quality
Title.
Spider-Man. You know,
Fact.
they never went out and go after. Now I'm not gonna say never. I mean, because I remember on the PS2, I think they had Triage make a Spider-Man version. You know, but
Yeah.
every title that Activision had with the Spider-Man game or Spider-Man IP, they didn't do their best to make each one a AAA hit of the year. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They never really went after that type of mindset and development. They didn't try to make it the big game of its release. You know what I'm
And
saying?
they didn't have to because it was a money grab because the IP, just the name alone, the character was going to make sure
Mm.
that the thing sold.
Yeah.
So they didn't really have an incentive to make it a top tier game.
Yeah, but the thing is, it didn't really sell though. Most of them didn't sell too well. They were average at best. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that was funny. It wasn't like Spider-Man consistently sells 9 million with every
Yeah.
release. Then I would get the point. You know what I'm saying? I don't think
Yeah.
the last one even sold 2 million, and it was across almost every platform.
Yeah, that's true.
You understand what I'm saying? I think it was across PS3, PS4, 360, Xbox One, Wii U, PC, and I don't think it even sold 2 million or 1 million. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
At the end of the day, as gamers, I'll tell you this: it doesn't matter what the name of the IP is, how popular the character is. If a game is bad, a game is bad.
Yeah.
A name is not gonna change that.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? A bad game's a bad game. So with the hype behind this Spider-Man being
Yeah.
backed by Sony, being developed by Insomniac, and you've seen the
Yeah.
recent trends of a lot of IPs, especially the big ones, are selling good. You know, this game has potential to sell 10 million.
Oh yeah,
You know,
easy.
which means more people played this Spider-Man than pretty
Yeah.
much almost any Spider-Man before it.
Combined, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's pretty bugged out. Along with the topic, Sony just announced and showed the Spider-Man limited edition PlayStation 4 Pro bundle.
Yep.
It's red. Let me see if I can pull it up on Twitter.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
And when you can, send me that link so I can go ahead and put my order in.
Uh, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty nice. It's all red. I mean, it's pretty much the white symbol, and the controller's red. So it looks pretty cool. But here's I'm wondering: is it only the Pro limited edition, or are they gonna have a Slim? Because I don't think they're gonna do a Slim. What do you think about that?
To tell you the truth, I wouldn't do a Slim either.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't. Listen, I know the Slim is selling more than I know the Slim is selling more than the Pro, but you got to think about it. There's a strategy. If you want a themed console, Sony will give it to you on their top tier platform so they can push the Pros out there.
But why? What's so important about pushing the Pro?
The price. It's the price, right? They make more on the. They're gonna make more on the Pro. They need to push that. They're gonna slap a big 4K sticker on there. They're gonna try to push that Pro, man.
But let me ask you something. For every one Pro that's sold at that price, you could sell 2 Slims.
I get that, but you got to realize, Puerto Rock, that Slim is selling off the shelves anyway. They don't have to push that. What they're gonna sell a theme console for what? $249.
Yeah,
the Slim is already $249.
Yeah,
they want to get rid of. To tell you the truth, they want to get rid of those Pros. And either way it goes, right? If they do it with just the Slim, people are going to complain. If they do it with just the Pro,
no, I say do it with both and let the consumer choose what they want. Because at the end of the day, all you want is the consumer to bring the box home.
Yeah, well,
because let me put it this way: let's say you have the Pro, right?
Yeah.
And I got the Slim. I mean, I don't got the Slim. I got the vanilla. So I don't even have the Slim. I have the vanilla, right?
Yeah.
But we both get in the special collector's edition Spider-Man at the end of the day.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Right. You ain't paying more for Spider-Man than me. We're both paying the same price because it's the same game. Sure, it runs better on your version, but at Sony's end, they're getting the same amount of money.
Well, here's my thought about that. Generally, their theme consoles sell at a higher price than what the base Pro, than a non-theme console sell at. So, what is the price that they're selling it for?
I think it's $400. I think it's $400.
Okay, $400. Because I know sometimes you can get like the regular Pro.
I see what you're saying. Then it'll be like $450.
Yeah, $449.
I don't know. Let me check. Let me look at Let me click the link.
Because I think right now you can pick up a Pro for like $349 in most places. So
yeah,
they're gonna want to make a few bucks off of this system, a few extra bucks. If it's a $50 more, then I can see that.
Let me see. Let me see if they have a price. No, it's $399.
$399. Okay, well,
shit.
Yeah. Man, that thing is gonna sell out quick.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying I don't see why they wouldn't do a Slim though.
I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can think of is it's their top tier system, and they would want to do that. For example, if this game was on Xbox and it was Xbox branded, would you want to see a Spider-Man theme X, or would you want to see a Spider-Man theme S?
I would say do both.
Yeah. In an ideal world, you would want to do both, right? Give people the choice.
Yeah.
But this system is limited, so it's not like you're going to be able to pick this up after a couple of months. I mean, once these things sell out, they sell out.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I just because at the end of the day, all right, sure, you make a little bit more money selling the Pro compared to the Slim.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that money is not what you're looking at. You're looking at the money you make beyond. Once the person owns a PlayStation, once the PlayStation has the Spider-Man console in his home, what do they do after they finish playing Spider-Man? That's where the money comes in. You know what I'm saying? The Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us, the third-party game. That's where Sony makes their money. The PlayStation Plus subscription.
Yeah, you're right.
Because you could probably even here's the thing. Sometimes you can have a person with a preference, let's say like an Xbox dude, right, who does not own a PlayStation, right?
Yeah.
And they could be like, you know what, I'm gonna get a PlayStation for Spider-Man, and then that's all I'm really gonna play. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
because you know you only have a special edition, you know, imagine if you have an Xbox, right, or even a Switch, right, and they
Yeah.
don't have a PlayStation 4, right, but they really like Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
A 249 special edition Spider-Man could be the thing that tips them over. They'd be like, God damn, that special edition box looks nice, and it's only 249. You know what I'm
Here,
saying? Because
here's
it's
the
so cheap, they could be
yeah.
like, you know what? For one game and a nice looking console,
Yeah.
249 sounds good for me. 400 is too much, but 249, yeah, I could do it, right?
Yeah.
And then you bring the console home. And they're like, okay, cool. I got my nice little looking 249 PlayStation. I'm
Yeah.
playing Spider-Man. And then thinking, you know what? God of War's out there. Let me try God of War. Fuck it, since it's already out.
Exactly.
Oh, shit. You know what? Let me try this Detroit.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, you're right.
shit. Let me try this Persona 5. Oh, shit. Let me try Neo. Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Let me try Uncharted. Oh, shit. Let me try Uncharted Collection. Oh, shit. Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Oh, shit. By the time you know it, all they're doing is playing PlayStation.
Exactly.
Simply
Well,
because you were able to tease them with a bundle that hit their price point. You know, because a $400 Spider-Man bundle, while it looks nice, it might be too much. They may be like, yeah, the console looks nice, but that's too much just for me to buy one console, one game. You
but
know,
let's face it, Porter Rock. They could charge probably $500 for that Pro, that Spider-Man Pro. It's gonna sell out. It's gonna sell out regardless. Just like God of War theme. Remember how ugly people said the God of
yeah.
War thing? It sold out. It's just that's just what it is. So I think maybe Sony's Matrix is like, regardless of what system we put out there, it's gonna sell out. So we can make a little bit more on the Pro, and I'm pretty sure they have this selection, just like they did the what was that? It's the blue slim console that they made. It's called the Days. It's like the Summer Days or some kind of. It's the blue console with the PlayStation logo and stuff all on it. It's a special one that I got, and it was a limited edition. And I bought it,
Mm-hmm.
and that thing sold out. They only sold it for a limited amount of time during E3. And I picked it up and it sold. It was a slim, and everybody was saying, "Man, why didn't they make a Pro? Why didn't they make a Pro?" And so you're always going to end up in this type of situation.
Mm. It's just
So
interesting.
yeah,
I don't know. I just found that interesting. You know, it was almost similar to when I was looking at when Xbox only had PUBG in the X. And I'm
yeah,
thinking, man, you know, you're like hold on, let me do the super chat real quick.
okay,
Shout out to Ruhan, man. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says Sony owns the Spider-Man franchise. They own it. I think they have a contract. I don't think they permanently own it.
no,
They own the movie rights permanently. Because
yeah, they willed and dealed for that.
yeah, Marvel actually sold them when Marvel started selling their
IP,
their their IPs to various studios back in the days. They were actually selling it like permanently. You know, it wasn't
yeah,
like Templum. Sony actually could have bought the entire Marvel universe.
yeah,
I was reading an article, but they were only interested in Spider-Man because they had no vision of doing like this Marvel Cinematic Universe, and all the other characters wasn't as popular as Spider-Man, so they only bought Spider-Man. And then
yeah,
Fox went after X-Men. We know the whole story, whatever. But that
yeah.
was only for the movie rights. For the game rights, I think they have a timed exclusive deal. I don't know how long because Marvel, one of the directors or whatever that was part of this, part of Marvel Studios, he went out and said that for the time being, creative control of Spider-Man belongs with Sony and Insomniac.
Well,
So even he said for the time being.
yeah,
So there is a time limit. We just don't know how long, how many sequels.
yeah.
We just don't know.
I think there was an article that came out like I think the end of last year that stated that Sony worked out a deal that would allow Spider-Man to appear, supposedly in the Avengers and stuff like that, with the backing being that they had the rights to do the games and stuff like that. So I don't know how long that is, but I think there was an article that was out there that was saying that. I need to
Now
get back.
that'll be interesting because I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure Square Enix would love to have Spider-Man as part of their Avenger universe.
and you
Uh,
know what, that's a good point that you made, Porter Rock. With that, is it possible Sony could be dangling the Spider-Man character out there for an exclusive uh, in-game character for their particular platform.
Oh, it's definitely because if Spider-Man's part of the Avenger universe for Square Enix, chances are it's going to be like a PlayStation
Exclusive
4
to PlayStation.
exclusive, and then maybe Sony might have the marketing rights to
Yeah,
the like the
to
Avengers
that game.
title, so which would
Man,
include exclusive
yeah,
content
that would
with a
that
PlayStation
would
platform.
that would man. People
Yeah,
that's fucked.
it's
I mean,
crazy.
it's that is nuts.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
As an Xbox only gamer, I would be pissed. Now I
Yeah,
have no now I have no choice. If I love Spider-Man, I have no choice but to dip into the Sony lineup. You know,
yeah.
maybe that's just smart.
But
Still,
that's what Sony's trying to do. They're trying to convince gamers to
yeah,
buy that platform.
exactly.
That's the ultimate goal, you know. Hey,
Yeah,
Jemiah Dixon. Thank you again for the super chat. He says, all those games you mentioned will be better on Pro. Yeah, it's true. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah,
mean, Pro. You buy the Pro is because you're looking for the best PlayStation 4 experience you could possibly get this gen. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yep.
Uh,
High fidelity graphics, 4K, and stuff like that. So
all right.
this game is gonna sell bananas. Will it sell more than God of War? We don't know.
That's gonna
Uh,
be interesting.
yeah,
I think to be honest, I think there's potential that it will. Only because the comic fever is bigger than ever. You gotta admit, there's a huge fever for comic right now.
oh yeah, 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 yeah,
It's like
definitely.
ridiculously huge, right? And
Yeah. Let me ask you this: what Marvel movie would be coming out around that time in
Venom.
September?
Venom comes out. No, Venom comes out in October.
Man, so okay, let me ask you this: just a theory. I don't know, but in that trailer, in the E3 trailer, when the guys were beating the shit out of Spider-Man, and he looked up, and they all looked up, there was a character that was there. Who do you think it could be? Is it a? Is I'm just throwing stuff out there. I don't know. I'm
If
just
I
throwing
if
stuff
I
out
if I if I were to put a high percentage bet,
there.
I would maybe think it's if it's another superhero character, I would think Miles Morales' Spider-Man character, only because last year or whatever, or at some point they showed him
So
in the game. They showed Miles Morales in the game.
so it's gonna be two Spider-Mans in the
I don't
game.
know. I'm just saying if
Yeah,
if let's say if it's another superhero character, it could be Miles Morales as another Spider-Man character there. You know, because
okay.
we don't really know the full story because this story is in its own universe. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
so
fine.
the only thing canon about this game is just the character themselves.
Yeah,
The Spider-Man character, the bosses, the bad guys. That's the only thing that's canon. But the
yeah,
actual story arc, or if it's based on a comic, no, this is his own original story.
yeah.
You
But
know?
since you said that, that still does not limit the characters
Yeah, it could be.
that would
It could be
show up.
Venom. Who
What
knows?
what if it's Venom, or what if
Black
and
Widow.
no, this would drive me nuts. What if it's Iron Man coming to help out? That would be freaking
That
huge,
would be crazy.
dude. That would be
That
nuts.
would be crazy. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
even though it doesn't have a tie-in,
No.
the story doesn't have to have
Nope.
no tie-in to any movie, but the mere fact that Iron Man shows up to help, that would that would be bananas.
That would
And
be interesting.
that's something they're not going to share with us. That's something that we're going to have to play the game to find out, because that's a huge spoiler, and I don't think they want to share that.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying not to watch too many trailers and stuff like that. Because after a while, I feel you get too much information.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying? I think I see more than enough for Spider-Man that I'm like I'm going on a
Yeah,
blackout.
we're sold on it already.
Yeah,
Don't show the game anymore.
yeah. So, hey, next topic. What you think about Guerrilla Games doubling in size? I mean, up to 400 people now. Like,
Yep,
holy shit!
they're using what, 5 stories, 5 floors, and they have their flag on top of the building. I mean, that shows me two things. That shows me that obviously um, they're doubling down, not only knocking out one IP, but they're doing multiple. They're and I think the article said that they're do multiple IPs. So I mean, you can have Team A working on one game and Team B working on another,
Mhm.
and that's a
Well,
lot. That's a lot of people, man. Not
yeah,
not even Naughty Dog have that many people.
that's clearly the end goal because I think one of the comments was they want to try to push out games a little bit faster. So by having more manpower, these
Yeah,
long cycles of games get reduced a bit, which makes sense.
yeah,
They'll be able to handle more than one project, so at least two projects, right?
yeah.
Some people are thinking that they're gonna stick with Killzone. Um,
I would love that. I would love that.
but okay, so how about this? Are you happy? And I'm talking about with the franchise in total, right? Not one
No,
particular
no, no,
game.
no,
I'm
no.
talking with what they
Yeah.
have. Are you happy with how Killzone is becoming or what it's been doing? Because I'll be honest, the
No,
only
no.
good Killzone for me
Yeah.
was Killzone 2.
Yes. Listen, I agree with you. But here's the thing: the reason I want them to make another Killzone is because I want them to get it right. Killzone 2 would probably, obviously, to me, it's, personally, it's the best one that they've released thus far. Even though Shadow, what is it, Killzone Shadowfall,
Yeah.
that was the most beautiful looking game at that time. So now, you got to realize what they've did, right? Their weak, the weak part of their studio that they had previously was always the storytelling and the characters. You never really cared about the characters. Well, now they fixed that, right? They've hired actors, writers, talent, Hollywood talent to fix those issues. Now they got a game that they knocked out the park. Now they know what they're doing. Now I want them to go revisit I wouldn't call it a failed franchise, but I would call it a franchise that kind of lost its way. Now I want them to revisit, even if it's just one spin-off game that's called Killzone. Finally, give us the game that we all along. Even if it's that. Do you remember that the trailer that they showed, the supposedly in-engine game that they showed back in the PS2 days for Killzone 2?
Yeah. I
That
remember
part
that. That was the infamous trailer of
yes,
2005.
yes. When everybody was like, "Oh my God, it's gonna be," yeah, okay. I want them to create something like that, recreate it, but this time it's all running in game, in engine, and now they have the technology to be able to do that
Hmm.
and overhaul it to where it's like it literally is. All of the debris is. I mean, just make it a PS5 only game and just knock it out the park. They have the talent now. They have the hardware. There is no excuse now for them to make a great Killzone game. I think that's the thorn in Sony's side for a lot of people is that yes, they've had a lot of shooters, but none of their shooters has ever reached the pinnacle. Some people say Resistance series was pretty good, and I think it was okay, but it just never. They didn't have the talent, or the hardware was the limitation. And now that they have, right now it can't. It seems like they can't lose Porter Rock. So now I think they need to go revisit some of those things, whether it's a SOCOM or something like that. They do need to uh, get a W when it comes to a shooter.
Yeah, I think right now, it's interesting.
Didn't Yoshida say that? I think he said that, right?
Yeah. Well, he said Yoshida says he would have liked for Sony to be more competitive or something like that. I'm paraphrasing,
Yeah,
just to do better in the multiplayer segment.
yeah, 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 yeah.
The problem is though, third party industry is
I
leaning more
I get
towards
it.
the
I get it.
multiplayer, and it's
I,
getting really really hard. Especially some of the top multiplayer games are free.
yes, but
You
here's
know?
the thing, Porter Rock. This game does not have to beat the Call of Duties and the Battlefields, right? Those are solidified. That's why when people say, when a lot of the Xbox guys talk about, the multiplayers, we have the best. No, you don't. Call of Duty, all the third party have the best. You have, the shooters that you have like Gears and Halo, but those are shells of their former self. They're not even the top tier games that's out right now. I mean, Fortnite is kicking its back in. You got even PUBG. Then made people forget about a lot of stuff like that. I would like Sony to make an exclusive that's specifically for their platform. I just would like them to make a great shooter. It doesn't have to beat Fortnite or beat any of those other shooters. It doesn't have to be because Those are multiplats. You would never be able to beat a game that's on all of these other systems combined. But just make a great game. Knock it out the park. High 80s, low 90s. You have the talent now. Give it a try. And if that's one thing we've learned about Sony is they don't mind trying and they don't mind failing. They'll keep going at it. So that's why I think we have a great chance of getting one.
Mm. Yeah, that's interesting. So here's my thing though. What would you like to see from Killzone? Do you think it's fine the direction they're going? Do you think they need to change?
No,
Do you want them to do something different?
uh, see that's the thing. I want them to stay away from the the Killzone Shadowfall art style. Even though it's a beautiful game, I want them to stay away from that story. Get rid of that. That's a one-off game. I thought it was a good game, but it didn't make me any more interested in the characters than the previous ones.
Mm-hmm.
Make the story, make people care about the characters. That's one thing I have to give it up to Battlefield, and maybe Call of Duty. Maybe for the guys who play the single player, it it typically has a good multiplayer story. It may not be the best. You may not know the particular character's name at the end of it, but you don't feel like this was just thrown together. And I think there's a lot to tell. Especially with the bad guys. I think so. With the kill guys, with those guys, just do something with it. They have the talent, but go back to Killzone 2. Go back to what made it noticeable. Go back to that. Re-pull that story, retell it. This time, tell it in a better manner. Maybe tell it from the alternate side of history.
Mm-hmm. And see, we got Harry. Hey, thank you for the super chat. He says a Killzone reboot, War of Hellgas, played and seen from the Hellgas perspective. Go back to the gritty and dark Killzone 2 environments and gameplay.
Wow. See?
I kind of agree with him. There has to
Yeah.
be a reboot. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have to do, and not just a reboot in the storytelling. Because like I said, you made a good point on the first part, a great point, which is we need a Killzone character to give a fuck about.
Yes.
We never had that.
Yep.
I think every big franchise has one thing in common. They have a hero.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's not just a game that generally you just play and you don't really have a character tied to it. You just play no. Or especially when it's
Exactly.
Sony, every game has to have a big hero you have to connect with. You know what I'm saying?
Care about them.
I mean,
Yep.
yeah, you have to care about him or her or whatever, but there has to be a
Think about
focal
it.
point with that
Kratos.
character. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep. Think
They
about it.
never
The Last of
established
Us
that. They never established that with Killzone. So
with
hopefully,
Killzone. Exactly.
if they reboot it, it's more than just a reboot of the game. It's an introduction to a character. This is the
Yep.
character that's going to be the mainstay for Killzone. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's the first step.
Yep. And
Two.
keep in mind. Keep. Go ahead.
Okay. No, go ahead. Continue on since I don't want to
Oh
move
no.
on.
I,
Yeah.
yeah. I just want to say, keep in mind, right? Um, Aloy, it's a character that people care about, right? It connected. Now we're getting sequels. Kratos, obviously, right? It's a character we care about. Now we're getting sequels. And we can keep going down. We can keep going down the line. Ellie, Joel, we can keep going. On and on and on and on and on. This is how you keep your franchise alive. You keep people wanting to know more and finding out what happened with Halo when Halo 5. Well, I mean, what happened when they took pretty much took my main character? Folks went crazy. They connected. They connected with Master Chief. They didn't really connect with Locke like that. So
Yeah.
you have to have that one central character that people care about to keep these games coming. And like you said, Killzone just did not do that. And a lot of other games.
All right, we got Chaz Cromati. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says we don't need any more multiplayer first-person shooters. Sony has much better old IPs. If they just dying to rehash something, leave Killzone dead. What do you think about that?
Listen, okay. So here's the thing, right? When we started this topic here, it didn't necessarily have to be Killzone. I mean, it could be a SOCOM. It
Yeah.
could be Resistance. There's multiple shooters that they can choose from, even in the Resistance world. We just want to be able to have something on the Sony platform that does well as a shooter, and obviously it's a multiplayer. But it again, it does not have to beat any of the other third party shooters. It doesn't.
Mm.
It
You know
does
what I
not.
think? You know what I think is the reason why a lot of people are skeptical with another Killzone is because when you think of first person shooter, you mostly think of the multiplayer. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
and I think and I think Sony has the opportunity to change that if they
yeah,
make a quality single player. Like if the next Killzone, right,
yeah,
has a single player to the level of The Last of Us, to the level
yes,
of God of War, to the level of Horizon Zero Dawn,
yes,
where
yep,
people actually want to play the single player, where that like people have to be like, yo, this is a huge, it's not a simple 5 hour game and then you move on to the multiplayer. It's an actual,
yeah,
nice, well designed story with a character that you actually give a shit about, and that's why everybody wants to play. If they
yeah,
could do that, plus balance it out with a good multiplayer for that
yeah,
long term sustainment and replayability, I think people would accept that.
yeah,
But
definitely,
it has to be story minded, like
yeah,
don't just do another, because I kind of agree, with Cromarty. If it's just being done just to play multiplayer, I don't really care because there's way too many games to play multiplayer. I mean,
yeah,
Fortnite, PUBG, H1Z1, Call of Duty, Battlefield. I mean, it just doesn't end. You know what I'm
yeah. But
saying?
keep in
But
mind,
if you
go,
make a good story first person shooter, I think that would be accepted. You know what I'm saying? Especially if people, are getting kind of old of the third person perspective. You know what I'm saying? Back to back to back to back.
yeah,
A good first person. Like what BioShock did.
yeah, yeah,
BioShock wasn't known for its multiplayer. It was an amazing game because of its story, even though it was first person shooter, right?
uh huh,
If Sony could create that type of magic, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I
I think
Yeah.
I think it'll be great. I look at it just like what you said in the essence of for Uncharted or The Last of Us, right? You got a great single player that brought people in. It's not just a one and done type project, but it's something to create a whole nother world and a whole nother character that you care about. But then on top of that, just like those games that I mentioned, Uncharted and The Last of Us, people thoroughly enjoy that multiplayer. So it doesn't have to just be focused on multiplayer. It doesn't have to be focused on single player, but do both. Um, I think they could do it, man. They have the potential. Right now, they have the talent. It doesn't seem like they can lose with their studios and their IPs. So why not? You know?
Mm. Hey, a new Spider-Man trailer came out from San Diego Comic-Con. They're showing Miles Morales, and apparently Silver Sable is in the game.
Silver Sable.
Yeah, so
Mm,
she's in the game.
keep getting interesting.
Yeah.
I see. I don't want them to keep showing more, man, because I'm afraid they're gonna show something that and I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna be like, man, they spoiled it for me. I
Mhm.
want to be able to see all these characters in the game.
Yeah, I see Mary Jane. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not hearing it, but I'm seeing they have a new story trailer. Yeah, Silver Sable's there.
yeah.
Man, this game looks phenomenal.
And then we get to play with the different suits. The Iron Man
Yeah.
suit, the old classic suits. I mean, it's gonna be dope.
I'm seeing some scenes with Mary Jane.
Hmm.
I hope I'm not. I hope she's not a playable character.
I heard a while back that she is in
I don't
some
know.
in some capacity.
They're showing Miles Morales a lot
Yeah.
in this story trailer. I have a feeling. He's going to be part of the game
Um,
because they're showing him a lot in the story trailer.
do you, do you think they would make Miles Morales and Mary Jane have a Spidey suit on and all just kind of all of them getting together fighting or whatever?
I can see Miles Morales having a suit. If they want to introduce Spider Girl, I think they'll actually use whatever version of Spider Girl that they would.
Yeah.
Um, I could definitely see. I could definitely see maybe a sequel with co-op. That would be pretty
Yeah.
cool. You have two people swinging around the city or stuff like that. You co-oping with somebody else. I could just imagine. You know what would be a good if they could kind of lead it to like a Carnage type scenario. So
Yeah,
you also got so that way you'll have Venom, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Virtual
Carnage. Yeah,
Spider-Man, and they're all in like the game is based upon stopping Carnage.
yeah,
That would be pretty crazy. So you'll have like 3-player co-op.
yep.
You know what I'm
Do
saying?
Do you think this game will lead to a sequel?
Oh, definitely. Oh,
Yeah,
definitely. I think this game's already a huge. The only thing is the reviews. Because reviews do impact the outlook of a game. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Hopefully Insomniac has the gameplay mechanics because that's going to be crucial for this game. Is the
yeah.
gameplay mechanics of
Well,
that?
based on what we saw so far, especially at E3, it looked like the gameplay, or at least the fighting mechanics, seemed like Batman Arkham
Yeah.
series. So that was already excellent, right? I think that was a highlight of the previous games, and so I mean, right now, I mean, the game probably in its essence right now, even
Yeah.
without playing it, I mean, the game can't get lower than a 75 because
Yeah.
those games got pretty, they were in the 80s.
Yeah. I
So
think I think I think also how much stuff you do in the world. Um, they gotta make it. How can I put it? It's gotta have a lot of content. Because
yeah,
you're traveling all throughout New York City and doing side missions. Hopefully, they don't make it to where it gets repetitive quite quickly. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
That's one of my issues with Sunset Overdrive. To me, it got repetitive quick.
yeah.
And that's why, like, I wasn't interested in finishing the game because it just got boring. It got repetitive quick, and
Well, from
that could be a concern with Spider-Man that Insomniac didn't put a decent amount of content to give variety. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because that's one thing you always have to be concerned about superhero games. Like another game that was like that was Prototype.
yep,
Like once you got over the running up the wall and gliding and all that, it started getting repetitive. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So that's one concern I say for Spider-Man games. You just have to be careful at the
From
repetitiveness.
from what I hear, it's a go anywhere. Uh, Bad guys. You're walking down the street and your spidey senses kick in.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting mugged.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of side quests that are just random, and you can choose which thing to. You don't have to necessarily stay on the main mission,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of stuff that's going to interrupt you um, on your quest. So
Mm.
I mean, I don't know. Hopefully it comes out well. Hopefully the game is what we've been looking for. It can't be any worse than the previous Spider-Man game. So at least from that
Yeah.
standpoint, we can have faith.
All right. Hey, I want to give thank you. I want to do a shout out, pay the bills. To Caster, thank you so much for the super chat. Caster says Sony needs to bring back SOCOM. SOCOM 1 and 2 at one point was on the level of Halo. I'll be honest, man.
That's true.
I would co-sign Guerrilla bringing back SOCOM
Yeah.
before Killzone. I'll be honest.
Yes.
Um, only
Killzone's
because
gonna be in
only
April.
because only because SOCOM had that small tactical feel. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. I think that was Sony's best shooter multiplayer that they ever had. SOCOM 1 and 2.
Well,
And
yeah.
I will bring that back if I
It,
was if I were to bring on shooter. If they were to focus on a shooter, I would say do that. Bring
yeah.
SOCOM back.
Well, let me ask you this: with games like Ghost Recon Wildlands and other tactical shooters that have come, like the Rainbow Six, Vegas series, and stuff like that, would you want it to be in it's possible in a third, and would you want it to be like in a similar fashion?
No,
I mean,
so the thing that made SOCOM, if I'm talking from remembering the game,
yeah,
one, it was always a third person shooter, right? But
yes,
what made SOCOM so good, it wasn't fast paced.
yes,
It was,
real
yeah,
life.
it
It
was
was
real life
strategy.
slow.
Yeah,
You couldn't even spam grenades or nothing like that
yeah,
because of the way it was done. It wasn't like you instantly threw a grenade at a guy. Everything had to be planned. Everything was tactical. It really pushed the agenda of staying with your team. You know what I'm saying? Because if you go out as a lone wolf, you're gonna get killed. You know what I'm saying? So it really focused on team effort. I like the loadouts was good. I mean, it was really balanced. You know, I think the game got off balance with SOCOM 3 when they made it huge maps and vehicles. That's when it got ridiculous.
Yeah,
You know, I
yeah,
think I think if they went back to the small maps, team tactical, 4 player, I think people
yeah.
will find that as a breath of fresh air.
Well, here's the thing, Porter Rock. Right, that game is old, and this is a new age, right? So we're the old heads in gaming. There's a lot of gamers that came out that know nothing about SOCOM. I mean, there's a lot of like, last generation gamers. They just started gaming on the PS3 and the GameCube and stuff like that. So, do you think that they would have to kind of water it down for the casuals, or would you just like to see it to be raw and rugged, how you
I
remember it?
I would say number one, just like anything else, make sure you have a good single player campaign that
Yeah,
makes people care about the Navy SEALs. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh
yeah,
shit, have those, heartbreaking moments. You know what I'm saying? Like when
yeah,
you care about the character, right? And then number two, with the multiplayer, I say make it challenging. Because here's the thing: you already have games that play easy. You have the Fortnites and shit like that. So SOCOM's not gonna
yeah,
beat those games in terms of accessibility. The Call of Duty
yeah,
is very accessible, Fortnite's very accessible. So there's no way you could keep a game that's tactical but accessible at the same time. So the only thing you can do is just do your own thing. Make it challenging, make it tough, so that way people can say, yo, this game is competitive as hell, bro. Like if you play this game, you got to be good. That
yeah,
makes people want to play it because it's different. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's a challenge. It's difficult. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
not an easy running gun you could kill and get 30 kills in one match. Some people ain't gonna like it, but chances are those people wouldn't have liked the game anyway because they'll go back to Fortnite and Call of Duty no matter what. You know,
that's true.
they're
That's
good.
true.
They're gonna go at the end of the day. Don't try to call it. Don't, and this is why it pisses me off when Sony changed the formula of Killzone 2 to Killzone 3 just to cater to the Call of Duty crowd. Because you can't cater to that crowd because they're gonna go back to Call of Duty. That's why they're called the Call of Duty crowd. That's
Yeah,
who they are. They're not gonna leave Call of Duty no matter what you do. So don't go after them. Go after the people that appreciate your vision for what you're trying to do with that game. Build a foundation and a fan base within that game, and you will be successful. Because I think Killzone 2 was their highest selling Killzone and their
yeah,
best metacritically acclaimed Killzone.
yeah.
It was all downhill after that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So people were cool with the game that Sony made with Killzone 2. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But chasing after a Call of Duty crowd, they
You
lost the
never
kill
win.
they lost the Killzone crowd, and
Yep.
you didn't gain the Call of Duty crowd. So in the end, what did you
Exactly.
do? You know?
Exactly. One thing you can't do, Puerto Rock, is you cannot alienate your base.
Yeah.
You can't do that trying to chase
Mm.
the people that are not your base. You just can't. You have to make the game that your base remembers and loves, and then you can always add on to it maybe a mode that kind of fits the casual crowd to bring them on, but you just can't do it. Um, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it happens. They have so many studios. They have the talent. They have the money. They have everything now. I think they have enough talent to be able to pull it together. They've seen many shooters do it wrong, do it right. Again, just don't try to go and copy the success of everybody else. Do your own thing. Be different.
Yeah. Hey, I wanna Harry, thank you for the super chat. He says they could create multi-plated mechs with online procedural destructions of mechs, which they learn from Horizon, implant that knowledge for Killzone multiplayer. So do like a mech game.
Well, remember, Killzone kind of, to tell you the
They
truth,
did have,
now
they did
looking back,
have, yeah.
yeah, yeah. If you think about it, Wolfenstein 2, if you think about it, it kind of took a lot from Killzone as far as the character
Mm.
design and the different things like that. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just whatever they do, I just hope they stay away from the Killzone Shadowfall stuff. Like,
Yeah, I
don't
think
even.
I'll say this. Yeah, I say this. Killzone doesn't benefit being playing as a person who sneaks around and kills people like that,
Yeah,
like what Shadowfall was.
yeah,
I don't think that doesn't sound right. Like even the name itself doesn't match that. Like the game is called Killzone, so when you hear that name, you're thinking of big battles and just
yeah,
straight up, total war type stuff.
yeah.
So
It needs to push the technical boundaries of war. That's what it needs to do.
yes,
It needs
you
to
know
be a
it.
game about war. That's it,
Mhm.
just
I
war.
think I think one, it needs to be closer, not in terms of gameplay, but it needs to be closer in concept of Battlefield, where it's big battles.
Yes,
You
yes,
know, and
yeah.
yeah, you're controlling one soldier, but you're controlling this one soldier, um, um,
And his friends
in
and his
big battles.
cadres and stuff. Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
see that. Let me just. Is there another super chat? Hold on. You got another super chat, Harry? Hold on. This thing's going crazy.
Okay.
Let me see. Because I saw the mech. We talked about the reboot of the Hellgas. We talked about that, Harry. You did more than two? Just copy and paste it if you did more than two. All right. Um, and then what else? Let me scroll down because this is going through. Carlos Crespin says Mag 2. Thank you for the super chat, Carlos. What would you think about that if they brought back Mag?
Look, man, I was on Mag night and day.
Were you?
I was, man. I may have been one of the very few, but 256 people split across 64 people, split across your squad of I think like 12 people or something like that. I can't remember because it's been so long ago.
Yeah.
But I was always the commander. I was always calling the shots. Um, and now I think we have obviously the online infrastructure and the friends list to be able to communicate with our friends. Back then, man, that was think about it. That was the early days of Sony's online technology, and it had the earpiece that came with it too, in the fashion of SOCOM and stuff. I think they have everything that they need to do it. I would love that. Um, but again, with all of these freaking PUBG type games, man, I don't know, Porter Rock. I'm just not sure if people the mature crowd, the mature people would do it right, but with all this Fortnite stuff going on, I just don't see those guys giving a damn about Mag.
Yeah. It's just it's a hard position because the third party industry took over the multiplayer scene. Um,
Yes. Some things we have to let die off. Something we need to realize it's never coming back, or it just may it just may be too little, too late. It had a time for it. Gaming has evolved from that, and as much as we might not care about Fortnite or PUBG or games like that, those games are what's hot now, and those are where the masses are. So bringing something else back from the dead, I don't know, man. I don't think that's where they need to focus their
let's
energy.
see.
Sony does single player story driven games, and they do them very well. I think they need to spend their efforts doing that. That's why I said Killzone or Resistance. Mag never had a story. You just got in there with your friends and did what you have to do.
Okay. Let me. I'm just looking through the super chat, making sure I'm not missing anything.
Yeah,
Uh,
if we repost your message in the thing so I
yeah,
can catch it.
but yeah, catch it because it's like because I know Harry says I'm missing a super chat, but I seen two,
Yeah,
and I'm scrolling down. I don't know if this thing's messing up on my end, and I apologize for that, but it's kind of weird that kind of weird. Like right now, all
yeah,
right. So, Gamer M popped over the super chat. Thank you very much. He says, "P, you need to give the EU perspective on Xbox." I'm gonna be honest. It's hard because number one, I don't even play the damn thing anymore. Like I haven't even I haven't played this shit since like February or January. And because of that, I don't even have Xbox Live active anymore. It's just that Microsoft's not. pushing anything that makes me want to play the console. Like I look at the closest was State of Decay 2. But once I
Yeah,
found out that the co-op wasn't really truly co-op, that it was just really you playing somebody else's world, but you get nothing to show for it,
yeah,
or they play in your world. So technically, the co-op, I mean, technically, is still kind of like a single player game, and the single player story doesn't seem appealing to me.
yeah. You just have people to tag along and help you kill zombies.
Yeah, it doesn't seem appealing, you know. So like, it's really hard for me to
Yeah,
to
for the Rock, that game has so much potential of what they could have did. It's been a epic. Yeah, they fixed a lot of things that was wrong with the first one, such as not, the multiplayer, having your friends tag along. That's good, but man, I really wanted to build up my base and go communicate with other people bases and
That's what they
trade and do a
sold me
lot of
on. Now, hey, let me
yeah.
go real quick to Harry Helm, to hop on back to Killzone just so we could finish up. He was talking about having mounted mechs with over 50 armor plates each.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? So would Killzone benefit with a reboot being a mech game?
nah,
Because we haven't really had any mech games.
I don't honestly, Puerto Rock. If they would do that, I would rather them to just make a Killzone VR game. I mean, if you're gonna do that, just make a
No, no, no.
Killzone.
We ain't
Yeah,
increasing the studio just for VR. We're not doing that.
for
oh,
real.
oh man.
I want them to. I think it makes sense to reboot the series. Just do a really good reboot on it. I wouldn't say remaster, but a remake on it.
Yeah. I know people are mentioning Warhawk.
Ah, that'll be dope.
Hmm. A Warhawk
That'll be
revival.
dope. But
Uh,
Twisted
hmm.
Metal, Puerto Rock, Twisted Metal, they have to
uh,
go back.
you think
They
so? I don't think anyone gives a shit about that.
well, again, us old heads
Yeah, I
know
think that's a hard genre to enjoy because all it is, when you think about it, it's just a bunch of. It's
car
like
come
when
back.
you think about it, it's just a bunch of cars shooting at each other.
Yes, car come.
I,
It's
I,
basically PUBG with
yeah, but
cars.
but 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 what made those games fun? I mean, what made those games really popular was because those were the few multiplayer games where you could actually combat each other with the controls that we had. But now that
Yeah.
we have DualShock analogs, first-person shooters and
Hmm.
third-person shooters took that over. Because when you think about Twisted Metal, was like the early PS2, PS1 games.
Yeah.
Once Call of Duty and all that stuff came in for competitive multiplayer, those
Yeah.
car attacking games died out. Because I think the reason why those car type games, those car, war games, whatever you want to call them, were so popular because those were the
Yeah.
games we got because we didn't really have a lot of first person shooters. We didn't have a lot of
Yeah.
the only games that were really competitive back in those days, especially during PS1, PS2, whatever, was primarily sports,
Uh
fighters,
huh.
and those car
And
games.
yeah.
You know, it wasn't. We didn't get a lot of first-person shooter competitive games. You know,
Nah, you're
and
right.
then came GoldenEye, but then Halo changed everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For consoles, at least, PC always had first-person competitive games, but not consoles. But these
Yeah.
car type games were always popular on consoles. Once,
Medal of Honor too.
yeah, and Nirvana. But once first-person shooter broke the scene, that's when I noticed these car attacking type games were dying off, and I think it's because the first-person shooter replaced that itch to fight
Yeah.
against somebody.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I can dig that. I can dig that. It would just be nice because remember, man, that's part of Sony's DNA. Like Twisted Metal was shit. That was one of the flagship games that they had. And I think
Yeah.
it's just
It
just
just
going back and if Sony today was to drop a trailer that showed all their classic games they had, Destruction Derby, um, Jumpin' Jack Flash, I mean, Battle Arena to Shinden, all Twisted Metal, just all of that. It just brings something out in
yeah.
you. Like as a gamer, you're like, man, those are the freaking,
Yeah.
those are the great
I
great
think if
games.
Sony were to go back and go after the old titles. I think they should go after the titles where they could continue to engage the storytelling. Because
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that storytelling is they're killing it, bro.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know
That's what
what?
they do. That's what
You
they do
know,
best.
despite what Phil Spencer and everybody else is saying, hell, even Amy Henning said, single player games ain't that profitable. It's just Sony's just killing it. You know, and they just need to go after titles where they could unleash their developers to push good storytelling games. You know what I'm saying? Like one, I would love to see them go after Legendary Dragoon. That was a great RTP. It was niche. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But it was a good RPG, JRPG. I think,
but
use Japan Studios,
yeah,
create a sequel, maybe even do a remake of the first one. Do a remake of the first one, full blown remake. So that way, because again, it was niche, so it didn't sell a lot. But do a
yeah,
full blown remake, see how much traction you could get, and then release a sequel. And it's a RPG, it's a JRPG, so you could create this huge
yeah,
world, and I guarantee you would attract the Scalebound crowd with that game.
yeah, yeah,
Guarantee anybody who wants the Scalebound, they'll see this and they'll be like, you know what, this is the next best thing because it's about dragons and all that shit.
yeah. Do you think they would that would be something that they should like outsource to Blue Point?
Yeah. But I think
Instead of
I think
having their
but they need to do a
internal.
remaster, remake, not a remaster. It needs to be what they did with Shadow Colossus,
Yeah,
built
yeah,
from the
yeah.
ground up remake. Because a remaster of a PS1 game, that's not gonna be good.
No, definitely.
It's gonna be
Obviously,
clunky. It's still
yeah,
gonna be clunky.
yeah, yeah. No, no. It has to be an evolution. They got to bring it to modern times. They can't,
Yeah,
But at the same time, I don't know if they would be willing to risk their first party studio spending a lot of time and effort creating one from scratch. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. So
just
then, yeah,
depends.
just put Blue Point. I think Blue Point. Especially if it's a remake. You know what I'm saying? I think
Yeah,
they'll do it justice. Now the sequels where it's gonna come into play because you need somebody with an original good idea to continue on the story, and I
yeah,
think Japan Studios could take that over since it's a JRPG. That
yeah,
Sony Japan Studios head that up.
yeah. Keep in mind though, these games don't have to necessarily sell 10 million
No, they
copies
don't.
to
They
be
just,
successful.
yeah,
They just need to sell, let's say, a million, right?
yeah,
But a lot of times, uh, Sony are happy when they sell freaking 500,000 copies. That's far exceeded their expectation
yeah.
and the money that they spent. So
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. How much they spent to make the game in relation to how much
yeah,
money they make.
yep. That's why Hellblade was considered a
Yeah,
success,
yeah,
even though it didn't sell what we would consider
a good
success.
sell.
Yeah, we consider a million plus to be, you
It's
know,
a minimum success. Like you need to sell at least a minimum of a
yeah,
million, and yeah, that's generally the idea.
yeah.
So next thing, Microsoft hyping controllers at Gamescom and accessories. Like, what do you think about that?
Uh, for the Rock, I mean, we've been here, we've done that, bro.
Like
We've been talking.
that's
At
I
this
don't
point in time,
get
for the
that.
Rock, they are telling you this is what it is for the rest of the generation. Like, don't be expecting anything until the next generation comes. And I think we're just, as much as guys want new games to come out and stuff like that, it's not going to happen, right?
Like,
You're gonna get your Forza. That's gonna come, every year. But other than that, don't expect anything.
yeah, unless it's something like because they did say controls and accessories. Unless they introduce Microsoft VR,
It's
I don't see why
yeah,
hyping
yeah.
controller at a games convention is even a thing.
I
I don't understand why that's a thing at all. Like, just release a YouTube video or a quick advertisement on Twitter. Like,
well,
it's a controller. That's all it is.
yep. Well, Puerto Rock, think about it. Don't they have that the inside Xbox? Is that weekly?
It's
Is that
monthly.
it's monthly, right? Okay, so they got that
And
shit.
didn't they just announce a controller on that recently?
They just announced the controller last week on that. So again, controllers control. I don't understand it, right? How many controllers can you possibly offer or buy?
Like,
If but hey, I'm not gonna hate on it because obviously they have their target audience. Their fan base loves it. They enjoy it.
But,
They go out and buy
but
sneakers
I
that's the
don't.
same
Like,
color and
yeah,
style.
but like, all right, I got it. Like for example, PlayStation also has sneakers and shit like that, right? They have the Paul George and all that shit, right?
Yeah,
But if they started pushing that on game convention shows, if they started pushing that out in the big stage, I
yeah,
will have a problem with that. I'd be like, this is not what this event is for. This
yeah,
event is not for controllers, unless it's like a significant impact to gaming, like the VR.
yeah,
That okay, I get it. If let's say Microsoft unveils AR lenses,
yeah,
okay, I get that because that changes the game. I
yeah.
get that. But you already had an Elite controller that you hyped.
Yep.
Now you released off-white controller. Like, what is this controller gonna do
It,
that no other controller has done? Why? It's gonna have 20 buttons?
yeah,
Like,
pretty much Puerto Rock. I think they're gonna announce the Elite 2 controller. It's gonna have better functionality. The triggers are gonna be able to pull in more and stuff like that. And again, it's still gonna be $150 or $200, and guys are gonna scream to the top of their lungs about it. But when you ask them, well, what games are you gonna play with this? Then the silence come in, and that's part of the problem. But at this point in time in the generation, right, we're 5 years into this thing.
yeah.
It's over, and if you can keep your guys, your fan base engaged with nonsense, and you can hold them off from switching over to a competitor by just offering them a bunch of nonsense, and they fall for it and they take it, keep doing it. Keep doing it. This Inside Xbox, right? They never really show any new games coming or whatever. I mean, they showed like Forza, right? But we knew 3 years ago that was coming because it's an annual series,
Okay.
alternating series. So I mean, they have to keep their fan base right now engaged in some form of fashion, and that's why we have Inside Xbox. And controllers are something that they can display, and guys seem to be perfectly content and happy with it. And so, why should they change that? I mean, for us that don't really care about it, it looks embarrassing and it looks like reaching, but their fan base tend to be perfectly happy with it, and God bless them.
All right. Hey, I want to take the time to address the chat. Thank you so much for rocking out with us. We got Rex, Blue, the finest up in here, Tussin, and Castas up in here. Thank you so much. Harry, of course, a big supporter of my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Impatient Fire. You got Christopher up in here, Robert McLeod. I got my mods, EJ Johnson up in there. Thank you so much. G, Java, Kyle, Eaton, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody as I'm scrolling through this. Dark Lord, what's going on, brother? Big supporter of my channel, you know what I'm saying? David and stuff, he's up in here. Go Beast, bro. What's going on? Gamer M, thank you again. A little tussin. OBJ, OBJ the Don, always a big supporter. Thank you so much for stopping by. Danny Stab. Appreciate you rocking out with me, you know what I'm saying? You got Trey BK up in here. What's going on, brother? Ray up in here and shit like that. What's going on? Thank you so much, everybody, for just supporting the channel. Jemiah Dixon, of course, Joe Robinson, Tri Vieira is up in here. If you don't mind, please hit the like button, you know what I'm saying, and tweet it out. Thank you so much for rocking out. I truly appreciate it. And my man AJ is up in here. Impatient Fire. I appreciate it, man. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. All right, hey, so this was a last minute topic. So Microsoft recently released some active user, and I think they went from 53 million users to 57, so a huge jump. And the word is it's been attributed due to the Switch and Minecraft cosplay. Now, and on a serious note, is this not what people were saying Microsoft is about to do? That they're about to take active users from other platforms and count it towards their own simply because that you need an Xbox Live account to crossplay with some games, well, in particular to Minecraft, and this is what Sony was trying to avoid. Was they're trying to avoid Microsoft using their numbers to boost up their platform.
Yep, we've been saying that for a year now. That was the whole scream and yell about crossplay. They needed. Think about it. Your true fan base are the ones who bought your console, and only 30 something million, close to 40 million, have bought that console. So that doesn't look good. They need to find some kind of way to make that console number go away and make some other number go high. And so they're doing that with how many users are active on Xbox Live and the systems and stuff.
Yeah, so a couple of weeks ago, I made a video. I didn't really talk about this, but the video was called, these companies are playing us for suckers, And what's
Yeah,
funny is a lot of people were riding high on the, consumer friendly stuff. But in the end, this was Microsoft's true goal. You know what I'm saying? The true goal of Microsoft was basically they want to use PlayStation numbers to boost their active users so they could use that as a selling point or as a look at us point. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And and this is why Microsoft was pushing hard on crossplay. We try to get them crossplay because their ultimate bottom line is to advertise active users to say,
yep,
hey, we got you know, I guess if they say there's like 30 million, there's like 10 million
Switch.
PlayStation gamers that play
Also,
Minecraft, they can add that number to them, so they can say, oh, we got 63 million active users because
yeah,
they're using PlayStation's active user numbers. You understand what I'm saying?
yep.
And
I
that's
mean,
always that's always been their ultimate goal. You
well,
understand what I'm
that's
saying?
Puerto Rock. That's how they plan on reaching the 1 billion gamers or whatever. That's how else are they going to get that number?
No.
That's they're going to do it. Cell phones. Anytime you open the Xbox app on your phone, that's a user.
Yeah.
How many people have downloaded that app on their smartphone?
Yeah, I got the iPhone. I haven't logged into it in God knows how long, but
Yeah.
technically, yeah. If
I yeah,
I haven't been an active user in months for Xbox, right?
yeah,
But if I log into the app today, I just became an active user.
yeah. But I don't get it. I mean, those active users, right? Unless you're getting revenue, well, maybe I don't know, man. Maybe they
Well,
count.
the way they see it is the more active users, the more potential
Yeah,
you can get revenue because they're doing stuff on your platform. So eventually, if they haven't already, they're
uh,
gonna get a game, that will have microtransactions. That's the reason why they look at active users because those are the people that are actively turning on the console, which can lead to digital sales, DLC, and stuff like that.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not an active user of the console, then you're really not playing it, which means you're not doing anything. You're not buying anything. You're not buying games physically. Because people got to understand this. Active user does not necessarily mean just digital content being bought. Active user means they are using the console. So even if you buy a game physical and you play it,
hmm,
that's still an
that's
active user.
active.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? So it's really people using the product, using the console, whether it's digitally or physically. Does
yeah.
that make sense?
But we did say that was their goal,
People
and
called it. People knew
yeah,
that going to happen, and it exactly happened. That's
sure
exactly
enough.
what happened. So Microsoft is using Nintendo as part of their numbers of how many people are playing on Xbox Live.
Well,
The
let me ask you
question is,
this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah. So I wonder this: how is Nintendo going to react to that? How does Nintendo feel? Or how's Nintendo going to feel that Microsoft is using their users to make Microsoft look good?
That's exactly what I was going to ask you.
I wonder how
What
Nintendo's going to feel about that.
what does Nintendo get out of it? I don't.
I don't
Maybe
know.
because they don't have an online infrastructure.
I think
Uh, maybe it's like, well, maybe Nintendo is smart. Maybe they're like, well, look, maybe your guys by interacting with us, maybe they'll go out and buy a Switch. I mean, they obviously Nintendo has the lower install base for the moment, so when you're the smaller one, then I mean you'll be willing to work with the larger one until you get bigger. I don't. This is uncharted territory. I've never seen something this crazy before.
here's something that's interesting. I found this interesting, and here's I'm gonna make this point, and I didn't notice anything from the Nintendo community. Well, Mikey Barr when Fortnite or Minecraft, Mikey Barr tweeted, he started playing on the Xbox, right, and then he went on his Switch, to play the game on a go. So I think he was talking about Minecraft, right?
Yeah,
And he said, oh, now playing on my Switch, earning Xbox Live achievement, right?
yeah, he did say that.
He
Yep.
did say that. And what I found interesting was how is the Nintendo community You know what I'm saying? Not saying that they're going to be emotionally pissed off, but how come they're not asking, like, damn, someone's earning Xbox Live achievements on the Switch, yet we don't have, Switch owners don't have an achievement type system to themselves at all.
Facts.
But yet, on that very handheld they support, you can get Xbox Live achievements.
Yeah.
But there is no Nintendo achievements. You see what I'm saying? And I wonder if they don't see that as something weird. Like, yo, people can actually earn Xbox Live achievements on a Nintendo platform, yet the very people who support the Nintendo platform, they have nothing. No achievement type system.
Hey, that's a good question for our boy Baron.
Yeah,
maybe
like
explain.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to go on multiplayer podcast today, but I'm gonna, when we bring that up, I'm gonna be like, yo, how does it feel that you're playing the Switch, right? And you can earn Xbox Live achievements towards your Xbox Live tag, yet on your Nintendo tag, there is no achievement on the very console that's primarily meant for Nintendo, because the platform's not meant for Microsoft. It's meant for Nintendo gamers and the Nintendo experience, but yet you're getting Xbox Live achievements from that platform.
Yeah.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, you're right.
That's going to be interesting stuff. All right, so anyway, you said you had a question or something?
No, I was just thinking the exact same thing. I don't, as a Switch owner and a Switch player, obviously I get no achievements. The only semi-benefit I get is for the games that I buy digitally and some physically. They give you some points, and those points goes to basically turns into currency. So if you save up so many points or whatever, it transfers to dollars. So you can apply those towards more games.
Yeah. All right. Okay. My man Robert McLeod, he's mentioned MS is letting you buy achievements rather than earn them. Really? I haven't heard that yet. I know the whole Neo Automata that got left. That shit went left real quick when people found out you could buy the remaining trophies or whatever. But the caveat is you have to beat the game 3 times.
Yeah.
You couldn't just do it right out the back or whatever. So it's interesting. All right, so I think we're gonna cut the show here. We pretty much covered all the topics. Is there anything you want to talk about before we go?
That is it, man. We had some great topics. Went back in history, talked about a bunch of PlayStation games and stuff like that. So, man, again, as usual, it's always great chopping it up with you, being here, and look forward to the next show.
Definitely, man. Hey, once again, I want to address to everybody. Thanks for rocking out with us. Sorry that we had a light crew today. Everybody, sometimes things have, life happens. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate, Kratos, the most toxic gamer on Twitter, was able to rock out with us. All right, and I definitely appreciate all of you guys for rocking out. All right, hey, you guys take care and enjoy your weekend that's coming up.
Peace.